So I'm super excited about this Zoom, and I'm so glad that we even kind of like waited a month to do this Zoom because basically like I used to just go back and forth between Instagram and Facebook. Like I used to just have designated months. 1 month would be Facebook, 1 month would be Instagram. And I have been not doing that for like a year. And finally I want to get back to Instagram. And I've read your story a few times and I talked to you at conference and stuff like that. And I know that you are like the Instagram queen. So I just kind of want to pick your brain, and everybody sent me a bunch of questions to ask you, but why don't you just go ahead and start by telling your story?
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I'm Nayara Ribeiro. I'm from a small town in Connecticut. I joined It Works. It'll be 3 years in April. So I joined when I was 19. I was still in college. I was a broke college student, just the typical living paycheck to paycheck. I was working 2 part-time jobs. So I was at a salon and I was waitressing at night and still juggling like school and all that stuff and not really knowing where, like what I wanted to do in life. I was just going to school because that's what I was told to do. So for me, it was kind of hard to figure out what I wanted to do. So when this found me 3 years ago through my best friend, Cassie, it was kind of like, I don't know if I'll be good at this because I sucked at school. Like anything I tried to do, I never stuck with it. I barely made it into any schools that I applied for. I actually applied to 13 schools and I made it into 1 only. So it was like, you know what, this is just going to be another thing that I'm going to try and I'm going to fail at it. When I joined 3 years ago, I didn't have the extra $99 to get started. And I borrowed it from my parents. And it has completely changed my life since then. A month into this business, I went Ruby. And at the time, it was $1,000 bonus. So I got that. 2 months later, I went Diamond and earned the $10,000 bonus. On my 9th month, I went double diamond, and then the month after I promoted to triple right after a conference. And now a year later, presidential diamond, and now working towards ambassador. I mean, when I joined this business, I didn't have the extra time. I was going to school, I was working 2 part-time jobs, I was super busy, and, just going through the motions of being the college student, having fun with my friends. I didn't think that this was going to be something that it is now. So for me, I kind of was like, I hated the jobs I was working at. I barely was making it by. I mean, obviously I wasn't homeless or anything because I was still living at my parents' house and they provided me with everything I needed, but not what I wanted. So for me, when I joined this business, I kind of hit the ground running just because I hated the situation I was in with working those 2 jobs. I remember doing everything it took to impress my boss and, never getting recognized. I never got a raise for coming into work when someone called out last minute. I never got a raise when I did something extra at work. And I hated that because it was like I'm putting in all this effort and not getting anything in return. So, when this business found me, it was kind of like, you know what, I might just make this work because I saw everyone else my age, kind of doing this business and working it and making money. I'm like, you know what, if they're doing it, why can't I? So, me and Cassie, it was nice to have my best friend with me. We kind of just worked this business. We kind of fed off each other and we were just, ignorance on fire since day one.
Okay, so that's awesome. So I have just side note, I'm gonna throw a couple of questions in there that aren't there just as you speak because I really am not super familiar with you. I just watch and admire from afar. But how long was Cassie involved before you joined?
3 days. So she joined and 3 days later I joined. I mean, we kind of just do everything together. Everything she does or I do, we kind of just go with it together. So she's like, you know what, you need to do this with me. You're broke. You need this. And I joined, I borrowed the money from my parents and I joined literally 3 days after she did.
That's awesome. Okay. So were you super active on social media prior to joining?
Well, on Instagram, I think I had 500 followers and I posted once a month, but nothing obviously what we do now, so I kind of was, but not fully. It was once a month or twice a month I would post a picture, but that was it.
Okay. And that's definitely the first question I want to ask you. So I feel like a lot of us even we're not, when we do join this business, we're not accustomed of using our social media platform as an area to make money. We're just not used to it. And so I feel like if anything, that's one of the top 5 struggles that new distributors have. So you know, I know that you enroll through Instagram and we'll get into that, but when somebody comes to you and they see the opportunity, how would you teach someone to start from like ground zero on Instagram? Or even like if somebody was to get in this business, because I even meet people that like don't even have an Instagram, and which is like okay, because I'm more on Facebook, but you know, I think about it now, like using all the platforms together is great, but what would you teach somebody that like was just starting from like the ground with Instagram?
That's a good question, because I actually have people on my that join me. Actually, I had a girl that joined my team last night, and she has an Instagram already. It's already built, has pictures, followers, but she didn't want to use it. So I told her the importance of using her own Instagram, but she doesn't want to do that. So she's literally building from the ground up. She made a new Instagram. There's no posts, no followers, or anything like that. So,
And would you recommend that? Because would you recommend that though?
No, I wouldn't, just because, I mean, I talked to her and I was like, I literally told her how important it was to use her own Instagram, but just, you know, some people are just, you know, they don't want to use that. And, you know, I literally like try to push it on them where they literally don't do that, but she did, you know, so it's like, it's a good example, because I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm teaching her to do, like literally to build from the ground up. So for me, it was different because I had followers. I used my personal one. But for this girl, I mean, and I've had girls on my team join, make new Instagrams, and they're super successful still. So I wouldn't suggest it. I would use your personal one. But so this girl, I'm having her follow a ton of people. I told her she's going to have to put double the work in. You know, for someone who joins and has already an Instagram that's going to be following from there, it's going to be a little easier to build rather starting from scratch. So I'm telling her to follow new people. I told her to get some posts in, like just personal posts before she starts posting about it works. And, you know, I told her to like treat it as if it were her personal account. I told her to take some pictures from her personal account and post it on this one. And I gave her like her new post to post as if like the first post. And she posted that tonight. But I mean, she already has 500 followers, I think. And she's like, I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, I can't even get that in like a day. Like, what are you doing? And she's just been following so much. And I told her, you're gonna have to put double the effort in. I guess that's what she's doing, you know. But I mean, my biggest advice is just following new people, posting consistently every day, and just reaching out to people. That's what I do every day.
And so this is like, because I look at your Instagram, I'm like, okay, like, all right, we get it. She lives in Florida and her life is incredible. I am in Chicago and it's cold. Okay. We don't like, there are so many things when I left Vegas. There's so many things that I love. I look back on my Instagram, I'm like, oh my God, my life was so much greater in warm weather, but I don't live there anymore. I live in Chicago now. But do you feel like you almost have a theme on your Instagram? I know that some people, sorry, go ahead.
I moved to Florida a month ago. So, you know, before that, I was in gloomy, cold, like 30-degree weather, Connecticut. So, you know, so for me, honestly, like me and Cassie always joke around. We're like, you know, the summer for us was the best time because we would post pool pictures. We'd take pretty pictures outside with sun and good lighting. And then it would come like our winter season, which is like almost 8 months in Connecticut out of the whole year. And it was like gloomy. It was like hard to take good pictures. Like we'd go in front of like a window and it was so hard to take pictures of like the lighting because it was so gloomy outside, you know? So, I mean, now that I'm in Florida, I don't think I have a theme on my Instagram. What I do is I post face, no face, face, no face. That's what I stick to every single day. I'm kind of like picky with my Instagram. I don't post like a face over a face. So I do every other. And I think that's so important just because if someone goes onto my page, they're going to see my first 9 pictures and they're going to see, okay, like she's a real person. Like, you know, it'll either be a selfie of me or a selfie with my friends or with my dog or with my boyfriend, Craig. You know, it'll be my face in like 6 or 5 of those pictures that are on like the first like view of someone following me, you know. So I wouldn't say I have a theme, but I do the face, no face.
I like that a lot. I like that. So I like face and no face. I always would just do like I did like, okay, friendship, selfie, food, fashion. I did the F's. Like I was basically taught like the F's, like to do the F's. And so whenever I looked at the 9, I'm like, there needs to be food, there needs to be fashion, there needs to be friends, fun, freedom, like all those things. But I'm on your Instagram now, and I can see that now. I can see that, like, that rhythm. So,
Yep.
and you don't have any type, I mean, I guess you don't. I mean, I know some people even, like, post with, like, colors. Like, I feel like there's times where, like, I want to, like, mesh the colors together. But when I look at your Instagram, like, you're very bright. You're just, like, super, super bright. I'm going to add that question in also.
Yep.
So, how do you space out your posts? Like, is there a certain time frame?
No, I like wake up. I usually like post like around, I usually wake up around like 10:30. So like I'll try to get my first post in like by 11:30, and then a few hours later I'll post again. And then, I don't really have like alarms or set time just because I feel like I'm like a robot. I'm like, okay, time to post. Like I don't forget to post, but no, I don't have set times when to post.
And so how many times is your baseline, though, to post a day?
I used to post like 8 to 10 times a day on Instagram. And that was back at the time when I joined almost 3 years ago. And, with the algorithms now, I post like 3 to 4 times a day.
Okay, and so how do you edit your pictures, though? Because when I look at your Instagram, and I know I just asked you this not a couple of days ago that you guys just got like a camera that you guys now use.
Yes.
But prior to the camera, your pictures were still so like clear, and just tell me the secret, or even like you're like, I think I asked you this before, like what was your cocktail for like Pick Tap Go?
Yeah. So, you asked me like a couple months ago about the camera. So yeah, Cassie got a camera, but before we barely even use the camera. It's really just like our phones. And, we try to just get in front of a window or do something outside. Always facing the window. Like you want always the light on you, obviously. And I just edit my pictures on Pick Tap Go. So I usually do lights on, crispity, highlights, and I always like tone it down, and then I always go back again into the same ones, and I always brighten it, and then I like highlight it again, and then crispity, but it's always like those top 3 that I go back and forth between.
Okay, and so something that I've also seen, because I'm just going to tell you I stalk you. I'll just put that out right now. Your Instagram skills are just crazy. So, but something that I've noticed with you, and I want to just see like where, because I used to do this, but I have stopped, and so just kind of like put me back into it. I will wake up in the morning, and sometimes I'll go to your page for like inspiration, and I see the before and after that you post. So, what's your technique with posting before and afters, and then all of a sudden at noon they're magically gone?
They're gone. They're so funny. Okay, so actually, before I was gonna get on here, I was supposed to post I was gonna post a before and after, but I forgot. But what I do is every time I want to get customers, I post a before and after picture around like 7 or 8 o'clock when people are really on social media, and then in the morning I'll delete it just because. I mean, I don't know, just with the algorithm and everything going on, like with Instagram, like it's just so much different than it was when we first joined. Like me and Cassie were literally talking about this. We're like, we would post like before and after pictures. We'd get like over 100 likes. We would post so many spammy pictures all the time, and it would always like get so many likes and so much attention on it. Now, like I post a picture like that and it barely gets any likes, So I will post it at night when people are on and scrolling on social media, and then in the morning I'll delete it.
And then so do you just like screenshot the likes?
Yeah, so that's what I'll do. I'll leave it up. I screenshot the likes and then I'll message them.
I like that. Okay, so there is an algorithm with Instagram, and there is one with Facebook as well. And I'm very I am so on top of the Facebook algorithm. It gives me a lady. I love it. I just think it's so interesting. But is there any that you've learned, or any research that you've done, or any kind of just patterns that you've found with the Instagram algorithm?
Well, I mean, I heard from a sideline that a month or 2 ago, we were just messaging people, and people were just seeing the messages and not answering. And then my sideline told me you have to go and interact with their post, 3 posts and comment on one so you can pop back onto their feed. I don't know how true this is, but that's what I was doing. So I also, and like the posting the bright pictures and all that has helped so much too, because I notice like, you know, it'll like bump up the algorithm and you'll stay like on top always. And like, I don't know if you notice sometimes like if people are posting on your feed tonight, the next morning, like 24 hours later, you'll look and it'll be like the first post. And then you'll scroll down and it'll say like 12 hours ago, you know, and it's like because those pictures are being bumped up by the algorithm. You know, I don't know too much about it, but the little things I know is like just posting the good pictures. What else was I going to say? You know, the before and afters, I delete them just because, you know, I don't get a lot of likes on them. So, you know, I just take them off my page to like clean it up. But I don't know much about it, but that's all I really know about it. But I just try to keep like bright pictures. I try to also like keep my I used to write like very long captions. I try to keep them now, like I still write long ones, but I try to keep them a little shorter just so people can like quickly like skim through them as they're scrolling by my picture, you know, versus the long ones I used to do. I feel like I didn't like get a lot of likes on them. And also what we've been doing is we created like a Instagram message. Well, Jade did, and it's like between like 15 leaders and like one message. And like when we post, we'll say, okay, we like just posted, and then they'll go and like and comment them. So it can like bump it up. Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, so like, you know, every time we post, we say, okay, we just posted, and then we'll get like tons of likes in the beginning. And I feel like after like Jade did that, it kind of like I've been getting so much more likes, like on my filler pictures. Like I used to get like 20, 30 likes, you know, and I have almost 10,000 followers, and that's like nothing. And then after she created this page, I get like so much more likes on like my filler ones. My selfies, I do get more likes on it, but like on a filler picture, like of food or something like that, or just coffee, you know, I wasn't getting a ton of likes, and now I am. And I feel, and like they'll start commenting. Obviously, like I delete their comments after a little bit because it's like if someone clicks it and sees that they're a networks distributor, they're gonna be like, what the hell? But when the girls comment on it like an emoji or something like that, like I notice a ton more people start commenting on it too, like that are like my potentials, you know?
I am so intrigued. So Faith just said it. We do this on Facebook. We have like a group chat where we do this as well. So when you say page, is it like an Instagram chat or is it Instagram?
Oh, okay. So Jade has like a diamonds chat. So in that chat, she created a thread and she's like, okay, who wants to be in on this? Comment your Instagram names. And what she did, she chose like she put us in groups of 15 people, and she put us all in a chat on Instagram. So it's like a message, like it's a thread. So every time we need someone to comment or like, we go into that thread and we say, comment on our page, like, or on our picture. And they go and comment on our picture on Instagram.
I love that. So, and can't you even like almost send your picture to that chat so that they just have like a direct link to click on?
Yep. So if you want to just send your picture directly and say like this picture, they can just click the picture easily from there and just like it and comment it right there.
I love that so much because I saw that too. Because I know a couple girls that are on your team, and you guys, I was like, wow, they're just really supportive of one another. They're just like always on each other's pictures, just like really supportive. But that totally makes sense. I love that. Yeah. Okay, so what do you think right now, like some things that will like really hurt your Instagram? Are there things that you feel like, oh, like actually I was gonna ask this, but I was needed. Or so you're not pro hashtag. I don't ever see hashtags.
Yeah, just because I'm not public. So hashtags, I think that like people won't see them unless I'm public.
Yeah. But you are pro emoji.
Yeah, I do a ton of emojis on my captions just so it can make it like kind of fun, but I don't do the hashtags just because I'm not like public. So if anyone like searches like that hashtag or clicks on it, you know, it's not going to take them anywhere because I'm not public.
Is there a reason why you're not public?
I mean, not really. I went public one time just to try it out, and I felt like I wasn't like gaining as many followers public than I was private, if that makes sense.
So
I don't know. I was like losing a ton of followers being public. And then when I went private, I don't know, I've grown like my followers so much within the past like 2 months.
Do you think it's that curiosity of you like interacting with them and them not being able to see your stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, it could be that. I'm not sure why. Because I know a ton of girls, like, on our team are public and, have a ton of followers and gain a ton of followers that way. It just wasn't working out for me. So it may be the curiosity, or maybe like when they go onto my page to request me, they're like, oh, never mind, and just don't. So I don't know.
Do you feel like there is anything that kind of hurts your Instagram right now?
No, I mean, I know like the algorithm like a few months ago was like awful, like with following people. Like, I don't know if you noticed this, like you could only follow like 40 people every hour. And it was like I couldn't get ahead with following new people. But, like I said, I don't post a ton of before and after pictures just because I don't want to like keep my page too spammy. And like I said, I used to post a ton and it used to work when there was really no algorithm, but now that there is, an Instagram is like so weird. Like, I don't know. I just, like, notice I post before and after pictures and then I just delete them the next morning.
I think it's genius though. I love it. So how do you search for people? I'm assuming that do you use the Explore page a lot?
I do and I don't. So when I was first building my Instagram, I was like using the Explore page, but now I have like tons of good followers that I'll literally just scroll down on my news feed. Like, I'll see like a girl that has like a pretty picture, with her friends that has 530 likes, and I'll go to the likers and I'll start following those likers just because I know those are active people on Instagram. I was actually, when I first started, I was following people's followers. So that wasn't working out good because some of them like hadn't been active on Instagram for a while, so I know that the likers are, because they're like liking that picture like that second.
I like that. So I like that a lot because, yeah. All right. Did you ever use like those apps? I swear I have not been on Instagram. I've been posting on Instagram. I never stopped, but I haven't been like working it for a long time. Do you remember I don't remember what app it was, but how like you could like go to a famous person and copy their followers?
No, I've never heard of
What
that.
it's called. Like you could like type in like The Bachelor, and then like you could like filter out like the women that follow them, and then you could follow them.
Oh no, I've never heard of that before. That's
There's
cool,
an app for that. I don't use it anymore, but so you follow the likers.
Yeah, I follow the likers, and when I kind of want new people, I just will search like some sorority page, just because I was a college student, and I like totally relate to them, and when they read my life posts and my struggles and how I was 2 years ago, they're like, wow, like that's how I am now, so that's what I do. I just follow like people around my age, and I go to like college sorority pages. That's what I do.
How many people would you say that you follow a day?
I try to, I don't know. It's just like, I'll go to a picture and I'll like literally follow until it like doesn't let me anymore, but I follow consistently. Like, I wouldn't say every hour, but maybe every other hour.
And so how often do you feel like you're on Instagram?
Like all day.
All day. We do this full time, so I totally get it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on there, answering messages. Like I said, I post 3 to 4 times a day. I do have Craig, my boyfriend. I know that's like a question that you have in there. I'm saying but he does like all this. So I'll be able to, like, when you ask me that question, like I'll answer that unless you want me to now. But he does like all like the work that, like following and messaging.
We'll get there. But so as just kind of, how many likes or how many comments do you think are put out a day through your Instagram?
Like people commenting on my Instagram?
No, you commenting on stuff on theirs.
I mean, Craig will go, and like people who don't like have seen my.
Let's just say this really quick. So one of the questions was, do you have an assistant? And the answer is, my boyfriend is my assistant, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Okay, so he's your assistant.
Yes.
And so how do you guys like do that? Just like kind of just tell us how you do that.
Okay, so he follows and he just messages for me. That's what he does. And when he messages and people respond, I get their number and he sends me their number, and then from there I take it over. So he is just messaging, asking for their number, sending me their number over text, and I am just texting them, and that's kind of how we do things. And he follows for me consistently, like every other hour.
So did you rewire him?
Well, yeah and no. He kind of just does a business like we do,
Okay.
kind of on the side. It's like he's been doing it for 8 years now. He has his own business, but I mean, yeah, he's basically home like all day, every day.
Okay, so that's actually a really great like kind of an agreement. Like that's a really great agreement, guys. So if you guys have a boyfriend, you guys, I think that a lot of times, and we can even like just touch on this briefly, but I feel like a lot of times when we get in this business, that sometimes we do want our men to be a part of this business in some way where they feel a part of it, because a
Yeah.
lot of times we bring them into a leg, our strong leg, or one of our legs, and we have them there, and they're getting an income, and we're like, where do we, what tasks do we give you? Things like this are great. I mean, Marianne's on here. I mean, I talk to Marianne about this all the time. Like, she's like, I'm driving the car, you're taking my phone, you're scrolling the feed, and you're liking every single picture. Okay, like, this is your job, which is really great. And so when you have him send a message, you just have like a blank message, like you have a
Yeah, so
blank.
yeah, because I message my followers, I mean my likers, so he will go in and he'll do that for me. So whether they liked like a picture about hair, skin, nails, or like a weight loss picture, like a before and after, he'll go in and he'll just message them, hey, just saw your love on my post. Are you interested in learning more about so and so? And then from there, if they say yes, he asks for their number, and then I get their number and we just start a conversation on text. But when I started this business, so I promoted to double diamond in 9 months. So he wasn't like doing anything or on board. Like, he always supported me, but he didn't really believe in it fully. And he didn't really think that like I was going to be making as much money as I said I would, or as everyone else said they were making. He never was negative or anything like that. But for 9 months, I was doing that all on my own. I was like growing my own business, and for those 3 months, I was still going to school full time. I was working 2 jobs, so I did that all on my own. And then, I went double, and he like, obviously he saw my paycheck and he was like, wow, like this business is real. So at that point, he kind of was like, I want to help, like I want to get involved now, and it's nice because it's like this is like our life, like he works this full time with me, like basically, he does work and I do work, so it's kind of like, we're a team, like we do this together. So it was nice to find something that he can like do, like simple. Like, he won't go in and like do any of like the back office stuff, just because I don't really like fully trust him and I don't like teach him that stuff. But he does kind of like following, messaging for me. He'll go and like interact in people's posts, and I just do like all the other work. He doesn't like hop on any trainings or anything like that either. It's just he does the following and messaging for me, and he loves it. It's easy. It's something he picked on super quick, and it helps me like so much. Now that I think back, I'm like, oh my God, how did I do that all, like, and build my business so fast in the beginning, and he's like a huge help now.
That's awesome. So you really are big on getting their phone numbers.
Yeah, I get their phone number like right away. When they say yeah, I get their number right away, just because, I think back like how long it would take me to seal the deal over Instagram. Like, people like aren't on Instagram DM as much as like we are, before this business, I didn't even know there was like a direct message on Instagram, and that's how people are too. They're not constantly checking it. So if I can get their number, I know that I'm going to enroll them like right then and there, because I'm texting them. Like, they're going to be checking their text that pops up right on their phone. Even me sometimes, who like is on Instagram 24/7. Sometimes I look at my DM and I'm like, oh my God, 4 hours ago I had this number sitting there, and like me and Craig didn't get it, so that's how people are too, like our potential. So I get their number right away and I start a conversation with them, and it makes it so much easier to follow up that way too.
I love this. Okay, so can we just do like a mock-up really quick? Okay, so like say like you have an opportunity post and I comment on it. All right, so I'm writing a message from Craig, and Craig's gonna say like, hey, thanks for the love of my post. Are you interested in more information about my business?
Yes.
Okay.
And then they say, yeah. I say, what's your number? I'll text you all about it. So much easier than DM. Something super casual, not being creepy, and there people are like, okay, yeah, text me. So I text them and I say, hey girl, it's Nayara from Instagram. So you're interested. And I ask the question again. So you're interested in learning more about what I do. And then from there, they'll send me a long paragraph with like, yes, and all their questions that they have. And then we kind of just take the conversation from there. And that's how it is with potential customers too.
I love that. I don't do that. I like that. That's so personal. I don't know why. I feel like maybe there's like a mental block with like asking somebody for their phone number. Like, hey, you don't know me. I'm just, messaging on Instagram. Can I have your
Yeah.
phone number? Kind of like,
No, I thought it was
yeah.
super weird too. And like I said, like 9 months into the business, I kind of just worked it like messaging on Instagram and all that. And one day I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try this. Like, I'm going to ask for their number. And instead of sending what I send them over DM, I'm just going to send it over text. Like, and I'm going to be super casual about it. I'm going to say, what's your number? Like, I'll text you all about it. Like, it's so much easier than being on DM. And people are like, yeah, I hate this. Like, here's my number. And obviously I get people who say no, which is fine. They're going to be watching my post now. It's kind of like I rung the doorbell, gave them a ring, and now if they said no, they ignored me, they're still going to be watching my posts and they're going to be more alert of what I'm doing, and then I have those people who never answered me that are like, hey, can you tell me more about the products now? Or, hey, can you tell me more about the business? So
I like that. So, two things off of that. First off, I know that you've created this organic following that, that people are liking your posts, whether, and sometimes I even see your profile and I see that you have like indirect it works posts where like they like it, but they don't realize that they're going to get a message kind of.
yeah.
But do you ever reach out? Like, do you send the first message without them liking or commenting? Like, if you go to somebody's profile and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to send them a message. Do you do that?
No, it's mostly like people who interact with me. I don't send, a message just by going to their profile. It's mostly who interact with me and my likes.
Okay. I forgot what the other one. Oh, what I was going to tell everybody else though is that we're almost through the questions that I have. So if you guys do have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. But so you don't send messages. Like,
Well, I do consistently, like every hour.
but only the people that are interacting with you.
Yeah, and sometimes I'll go into my followers too, but not like random people that are on my feed, kind of just my followers and my likers. That's what I do consistently. I try to message like at least 10 people every hour. And sometimes I'll go back into posts too. Sometimes there's like over 100 likes on a post and like that day Craig just didn't message them. We'll message them and we go into our followers and do the same thing too. And sometimes I like just unsend and resend a message. Like if someone saw my message, I'll unsend it and then I'll just resend it again. Just like, hey, like, and sometimes people just read it, like they were busy at the time, and I unsend it again and resend it, and they're like, oh yeah, like tell me more about it,
Do you ever so are you active on Facebook?
I've grown my business like 100% on Instagram. I post on Facebook here and there, but I don't like work it on Facebook now.
So your communication with like everybody is just through text basically.
Yeah, it's basically all through text, and the people who say no or don't answer me, I just don't like get their number. But like I said, again, like if I go through my messages and it's like they never answered me, I'll unsend it and resend it again. Or I say, I'm sorry, did I say something that pissed you off? And they're like, oh no, like, yeah, like tell me more about it. And then I'll ask for their number. And then, sometimes I get their number from just doing that. So that's kind of what I do to people who just read it and didn't respond.
I like that. Do you use any apps for anything besides picture editing?
No, I just do Pick Tap Go. I use like Cleaner for unfollowing, things like that. But like Pick Tap Go is like my go-to. Like it's like my lifesaver.
Do you do ads? So your page is in business, right?
No,
So you don't ever do promotion ads?
no, I don't.
Okay. And so you are just like so not Facebook. Like, do you ever even contact anybody on Facebook at all?
Well, I've actually enrolled a few people who contacted me from Facebook, but yeah, I'm not on Facebook at all. Like, I mean, I post like here and there, but I don't like really work my business on there. Like, I just love Instagram so much, and I've grown literally my business 100% from there since like the day I started.
Is there any way that you keep your potentials organized? Like, so I know that you get them through text messages. Like, I know that you get them to text, but when you're on Instagram, do you use like the folders or anything like that to kind of like, no?
No.
So what about when it comes to follow-up? So maybe you have them on, maybe you got their phone number and you're talking to them via text.
Mhm.
Where do you remind yourself to like interact with them still on Instagram? That makes sense?
So well, when I get their number,
Okay.
I have them over text. So for me, I don't like follow up with anyone on Instagram. Like if someone didn't answer my like first message, Craig will go back and like unsend it, resend it, or say, I'm sorry, did I piss you off? Or I'm sorry, did I say something that pissed you off? But I don't have like I don't follow up on Instagram because it's either I get a number or I don't. So how I follow up over text is, you know, I have their number. I don't have names saved just because I could be talking to like 20 different Ashleys, you know, so I just have numbers saved. So if I'm talking to someone today and they gave me a date to follow up and they're like, follow up with me on Friday, I have a planner and I write their number down and I write like -LC. So I know that day that I'm going to follow up with all my LCs first, and then I follow up my distributors. And then I'm not like super organized with this, but then I go through my texts again and I scroll down and I say, okay, I click like the first conversation that pops up. Okay, she never answered me. Let me follow up with her. You know, and then I go down again and I see the next conversation. She didn't answer me. Let me follow up with her. But it's all numbers in my phone. It's literally just numbers. I don't have like PDT or PLC or anything like that. It's just numbers.
Okay, I like that. So I'll get into some of these questions over here. So how often would you say that you do post before and after? Would it be every night?
No, not every night. Maybe like once or twice a week.
Once, twice a week?
Yep.
Okay. Is there anything that you do with your loyal customers on Instagram? Like, do you like ask them to like post for you or like post a picture?
No, but I actually do have like a lot of people who do post like stories or will tag me in certain things, but a lot of my customers just kind of do it on their own. But no, I don't ask them to do that.
That's the question I was forgetting to ask you is, do you utilize and work the Instagram story?
Not as much as I should. I do like here and there, but you know, I've grown to do it more, but you know, I definitely should utilize it more because you know, it's crazy how many people view that over your own post. You know, it's so crazy, and the times that I do it, the messages I get like all the time from it are like insane. So I do, but not as much as I should be because it's like awesome.
Do you ever go live on Instagram?
No.
No, see, that's why I love Facebook so much. Is that like I love going live because I like to spread the weird. Like I know I'm a little weird. I love to spread.
I know. I love your lives.
I'm weird. I love it. I love like the algorithm, the lives on Facebook. Like I love it. And I haven't looked into the Instagram algorithm at all, and I just don't know if it like is similar or not. But you never go live or nothing.
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. That's okay, but you should. Okay. Let me see here. So how much time? So are you in school now?
No. So, I was in school for about a year and then I dropped out.
That's okay. I mean,
It just wasn't for me.
a lot of student loans are still.
My parents were upset, but whatever. I mean, I don't know. This business was just my thing, so.
And that's totally okay. So when you were in school, how much time were you dedicating to It Works?
I mean, all the time that I had on my hands, like the free time that I had, you know, so for me, I was actually talking to a girl this morning, you know, I was telling her that I would, if I had a 9:30 class, I knew I had to leave by 9:00 and I needed 30 minutes to get ready. So I would wake up 30 minutes before all that. So I had time to, you know, and at the time I was doing this all on my own. So I was following, messaging, you know, posting. So I would work my business before I had to drive to school. Getting into class, the professor is always late. So I'm sitting there instead of talking to friends or, you know, scrolling through Instagram and Facebook, I was working my business. After class, I was working my business on the way to the next class. You know, on my long breaks at school, I was literally working my business 24/7, you know, when I had that free time. You know, obviously with homework and all that, I would just try to like literally get I was a huge procrastinator, but when this business came around, it was like the first thing I would do was do my homework so I can get it out of the way and have the rest of the night to work my business. You know, for when I was working, I worked during my breaks. You know, like when I had a break, when it was like time to relax and time for me and to be on my own, like I was literally eating, stuffing my face, like with that little hour I had, and working my business. I was messaging, I was following up with people. I was checking in with my customers and my potentials and all that. So I literally worked my business with the little time I had in between that. And it paid off so much because, I was able to quit both of my jobs so fast because I literally made no excuses. I just worked so hard in the beginning because I had a goal to quit those jobs. And, after I caught the vision, I was like, I need to make this work so I can leave these jobs. And that's what I did 3 months in. So, work the business in all of your free time. Don't take time to do anything else other than work your business when you have the time.
I love that so much. Work hard now, play later. I sometimes I don't feel like people get it.
No.
Sometimes I don't feel like the sacrifice that we have made in the beginning of this business can create such a financial longevity of your life. Sometimes I don't realize that people you lose sleep, you don't shower, you might miss some meals, your boyfriend might not get a lot of attention, but it'll pay off. Trust me. So something I want to ask you. So when you lived in Connecticut, I didn't even know this because I can't scroll back far enough right this second to not see palm trees or pools or anything like that. But so you use filters. I can still see that it's the face filler kind of thing. And how do you feel about the whole I hate saying fake it until you make it, but more faith it until you make it, where maybe your life is not as beautiful as yours, where there's palm trees and rainbows and pools and all this stuff. Did you ever utilize that? Did you ever utilize Pinterest pictures or kind of anything like that for your fillers to try to make your life look a little bit more interesting than it was?
Oh yeah. For me, especially in the beginning, when I was in school, I was, trying to build my business. So I wasn't making all this money super fast. So, I was still broke and not able to do certain things. So, I mean, yeah, I utilized, pictures that I saw on Facebook or maybe Cassie had some good pictures. I went on her page and took them, or if Jade did, I just literally faked it until I made it. And that goes for me posting about, saying when people potentials would talk to me in the beginning and they're I usually send the income chart, and I remember in the beginning there'd be oh, where are you on that? And I'm a month in, I'm a Ruby, and I'm okay, what am I going to say now? I panic, but I'm you know what, right now, I wouldn't say where I was, but I was actually I did say where I was. I was I'm a Ruby, but next month I'm going diamond and I'm earning that $10,000 bonus that's going on right now. So that's kind of it wasn't really faking until you made it because I was just claiming my goals and I was making it happen. But yeah, I still, sometimes steal some pictures and things like that. It's hard to come up with pictures today. We were sitting at Starbucks and it was almost 2:00 and I'm crap, what am I going to post? Not always I have the perfect post and things like that. I just kind of search around and see if Cassie or any of the girls that I'm friends with have any good pictures, and I screenshot them and I post them.
I love that. Same. And that's okay, guys.
Yes.
You don't have to be on it. You should be on it, but not every second of every day. There are times I'm oh my God, it's only been 4 hours since the last time I posted. What did she post? Because she has really great posts. Let me see what I can personalize from you. So real quick. So this girl wants you to just repeat what you say to get their phone number.
So I just say, what's your number? I'll text you all about it. It's so much easier than DM.
Yeah, so that's great. That's perfect.
I could even type it in here.
And this is a great question too. So do you sign your distributors and loyal customers, or do you send instructions?
So hold on one second. So much easier. I can never multitask.
Okay.
So I never sign them. It's I usually say, when I give them the price and they're oh yeah, that sounds awesome, I send a script. I actually just helped 2 girls get their order in. I only have 1 more spot left for this discount. Are you ready to order now? I can walk you through it. And if they say yes, I will send them the directions to it, and they always order on my website from me.
Is there any reason why you don't put them in yourself?
I've tried to, and not everyone will give me their information. So, I just I've always done this just from Jade's LC sealing the deal video. When I watched that in the beginning, she was like, always like, you know, send them directions when they're ready to order. It's kind of like what I've done since the beginning. Sometimes I feel like I've actually gotten maybe like 10 people to send me their information out of like the 2.5 years I've been in. And I know a lot of people like get people's information, but it doesn't always work for me. So, you know, whether they're like, I can't, if they say I can't do it now, I'm like, it only takes 5 minutes. You can do it from your phone. Just click this direct link and it'll take you right to it. And then people just do it. And it's like fast.
So this is what I love about trainings, especially with like different leaders. I personally, nobody has ordered from my website in a year. I have put in every single order, and I've probably enrolled, I know exactly how many loyal customers I've had in the last 2 years, but I've probably enrolled there's been at least 100 this year.
Wow.
Nobody has ever ordered from my website this year. I put in every single one. But you, on the other hand, send them instructions. And I love showing that. So everybody that on this Zoom, there is no right or wrong way. It works either way. It's just whatever your preference is. Okay. That's so interesting though, because I will never, they're like, can I have your website? I'll be like, for what? Like, what do you need? Do you want like a product information sheet? Like, do you want to just go and look around? Because I got it. I just consider it a part of my job. And I always make sure, I feel like the one thing that a lot of people get nervous with asking for their information is that CVV number. And I say, send me this. No, I do not need your CVV, like in caps, so that they don't send it. Because if I have all of your card information, that's weird. Just give me your expiration date and your card number. I can't do anything else with it. All right. So I love that. And then, so the last question that I'll just end this with, and I love asking leaders this today, and so I hope that you thought about this. I love asking this to any leader that I do an interview with. If you could tell you that joined anything, what would it be? And like when you were sitting in front of you and you're like, listen, girl, this is what we're going to change. What would you tell you?
Well, if I can tell myself something from the beginning, would be change my mindset and listen to personal self-development. I didn't realize how important that was in my business until I actually started doing it, which wasn't like real, like maybe like a year and a half ago, you know, and I was like super negative before it works. Like, you know, before me and my friends would go out, I'd be like, oh, this is going to be like so bad. Like tonight, like, you know, this party is going to be boring. Like, you know, I was just like that type of person that was like always like saying negative things over my life without realizing how much it was like affecting it. And, you know, if I can tell myself one thing from the beginning would be, you know, be positive, claim your goals, believe that you can actually do this, and you know, staying consistent with it and never giving up. You know, obviously I've always been consistent with my business and I never gave up, but it's something that I tell people all the time. Like the only way that you can fail at this is if you quit. So, you know, that would be like the two most important things that I would tell myself is just be patient too. And it's like, and there's certain things that I want to happen in my timing. And it's, you know, it's not about my time. It's about God's timing and when he wants it to happen, you know, because there have been so many times I've tried to go for a promotion, you know, I like it, and it doesn't happen, you know, and I get upset and I get, you know, down on myself because we're all humans, you know, but it's like, I've had to learn to like accept that it's like on God's timing. You know, obviously I work so hard every day and I just let it happen when it's supposed to happen.
I love that. That is so true. That is so true because everybody's story is different, especially in a business like this. It's just different. Like we just don't know what we need to even be prepared for sometimes, or we don't know what God's going to put us through. You know, we're thinking, you know, and if we're thinking sometimes, and I think about this all the time too, because I've recently, you know, there's been goals that I've wanted to hit and then there's been bumps in the road. And really, truly, this business is so much self-development with the compensation plan. And if you're thinking diamond or double diamond or whatever you're thinking, well, God might put you through trials first to make sure that you are able to maintain and sustain and be at diamond leadership or double or triple or pres or ambassador or 2.0 any spots. He might be putting you through more in order to be able to appreciate when you're there. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for doing this with me. You were just, I'm obsessed with your Instagram. I know that some of you guys were like, hey, can you make your Instagram unprivate? You know, she does it for a reason. I feel totally blessed to even be allowed in there. You know, there is this thing where like sometimes, you know, we don't let it, it's nothing personal.
I mean, if you guys, yeah, it's nothing. Yeah, it is nothing personal. Sometimes I even don't like block sometimes like people on my team just because it's like Craig, he's like, he messages for me. And like, if I'm messaging, I can know when someone is a distributor from their followers and I know I'm not going to message them. He will accidentally. And sometimes I get nasty messages. So that's mainly why I keep it private too. And I only let like my team follow me because I follow them back and he sees their page and he's like, okay, I can't message them. They're a distributor, you know? And that's like mainly why. But I do post like basically everything that I post on my Instagram, I post on my Facebook. So if you guys do want to follow me on Facebook, that's like totally fine too. Like everything that I literally post on my Instagram and then I go and copy paste it and post it on Facebook. So all my stuff is like on both pages.
There you go. That's a great way.
Yeah.
Thank you so much again. I will send you the recording as soon as I upload it, and I'll talk to you later.
Okay, thanks. Bye, guys.